We'll see what changes have been instituted in my absence. Hello and welcome to the Space Limited Accomplishments Interval. I am Lance Ash, and this with me in the car is my wife Bonnie Ash.
Hello.
What safety initiatives have you spearheaded during your time as safety inspector? Anyway, I've been off for 4 days from work and heading back reluctantly. Can't wait to see what repercussions await me for having called in sick, because there are always causes and effects.
And petty little punishments by petty little people.
Yeah. So, had a good weekend though. Didn't get much painting done because it took me a while to get into it. Started the new painting and it took me a while to get going with it. I've gotten to the point where I'm so picky. My method has become so what's the word? Not convoluted, but precise and demanding. That's the best way to put it. So, what happened to you this weekend, Bonnie?
Oh God, I cleaned and organized and created and just, fidgeted. You wrote and posted a song.
Yeah, I posted the second song on the new album and posted an instrumental. I don't think I'll be doing any more open tuning songs for a while.
Why is that?
Because I'm not familiar with how to make chords in OpenG, and it's a limited number of patterns that you can do, and I'm not just gonna, hit regular chords, straight chords, slide your finger up and down the neck. It's just not the way I do things. It might be the last instrumental I do for a while too. I'm not used to the acoustics in the new studio, and the drum sound is insufficient every single time.
Oh, we didn't switch out that shelf unit we talked about in the closet. We talked about moving the shelf unit. I found the straps for lashing those milk crates together for the deep things.
Oh, well, we'll get to that when we can. We got our lawnmower back. Bonnie's father spent some time working on it, and we got it back.
Some time? He spent weeks.
Well, he's had it for a couple months, yeah. We got it back, and Bonnie cut the grass, and so it's nice having a lawnmower that works instead of having to borrow my mother's all the time. And
I don't know how long that mower's gonna last, though. It's a lightweight mower.
Yeah, I didn't realize how cheap it was until we got it back, because we've been borrowing my mother's for so long. I'm used to that one.
Hers costs like 2.5 times the price of ours.
Right. I would imagine we didn't spend more than what, $1,100 on ours?
Not even $1,000. Not even.
Really?
And hers was like one of those $2,500, $2,700 mowers.
Well, she's got like 6 acres to cut, and she's diligent about doing it. So that's a lot of
crazy
work. She just turned 76, and she's still 77, right? She just turned 77, and she's
older than that. Stephanie turned 65. Steve's at
she's born in 43, put it that way. So she just turned 77 last year. What? She's born in 43.
Didn't say anything.
Okay. I always remember she was born the same year as Mick Jagger. That's how I keep up with it. So, Mick Jagger's 5 or 6 months older than my mother.
He's in a lot better shape, physically and mentally, than everyone.
Well, when you have $800 million in the bank, you can afford the best health care, the best dietitians and trainers, keep you on your toes.
The best drugs.
Plus, he probably gets lots of sexual activity, which I guess contributes to good health, good mental functioning. My mother probably hasn't had sex since Well, how old am I? Well, how old is my sister? Put it that way. You know, this is going to be very bad when my sister hears this and goes, I cannot believe that you would say such horrible things about our parents.
Given that she doesn't support the vaccine, I'm not going to worry about what she thinks.
Very odd. Very odd. But I did have a really nice, relaxed 4 days. I just felt so good. Oh, Lord. Let's not dwell on the negative. Let's think of a topic. Oh, I'll tell you a good topic. Bonnie and I... Okay, back up a second. Bonnie has suckered me into watching Endeavor, the prequel series to the famous Inspector Morse series. And so I spent the last week or so watching it like a crazy man. Can't wait to get home and finish up watching the episode. The episodes are an hour and a half long.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, the attention to detail for the props and the buildings, the sets, the clothes, everything. Because the one we're watching now is 1966, and I don't know where they got all this stuff. Each episode must have cost $2 or $3 million to produce.
I doubt that.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know who produces it. It must be BBC because the original series was.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but they know that they can sell this series around the world on different platforms, and people will watch it. I saw something. Oh, I'm so sick and tired of Bill Maher. He's an old curmudgeon. I mean, for all his what's the word? Progressive, left-wing leanings, he's very socially conservative. You know, kids today, and he's whining about participation culture, where the kids get a trophy just for showing up. I played Little League football in 1976 or 7, somewhere in there. Everybody got a trophy for playing. It's nothing new. And second of all, he's whining about the Golden Globes, the Grammys, the Emmys. I don't know what the fuck. Some awards show, and the entertainment portion of the presentation was just some vacuous double entendre crap shit song thing, and he's like, oh, the kids watch nothing but their little cell phone, and they don't get activity, and they're not inured to the hardships of life. They think all you have to do is show up, and you get, whatever. And I posted a comment in response to this, which is basically the reason the culture is so full of dreck and mediocrity is because there's so much of it now. When I was a kid, you had 3 major broadcasters plus PBS, and that was it. And if you wanted anything else, it was comic books, get outside and play. Now there's 10,000 channels, and with that much entertainment on offer, obviously there are more people creating it, writing it, performing it, and not everybody is a superstar. And so of course there's going to be a decline in quality because there's more quantity. And it's funny, there was I don't know what the right word, a media critic back in the 50s named Robert Warshaw. He died very young. He wrote for Commentary magazine. I would imagine ostensibly in the left-wing camp, certainly of that time period. He wrote a famous piece that I reread about. There was a whole kerfluffle about Dr. Wortham testifying against comic books before Congress, and William Gaines, the publisher of Mad Magazine, testified on the opposite side of that, and he wrote Robert Warshaw wrote a little essay about his son reading comic books and reading Mad Magazine, and he said basically he didn't see anything really wrong with his son reading this stuff, but he did think it was just trash. And he wanted his son to get into reading books because he felt that, what's the word? Pleasure deferred is more high quality or whatever. But the thing is, looking at it today, I think anybody would feel that reading comic books would be, or reading what Mad Magazine used to be, would be preferable to just soaking up whatever the goddamn internet cell phone brain connection dishes up.
Wait a minute. Didn't this dialogue start with you criticizing Bill Maher for criticizing modern culture like some old curmudgeon?
Yeah, but
have you ended up doing the same thing?
No. What I'm saying is he's whining about, no quality and all this stuff. Well, I'm just saying that's a natural function of the way things are.
I would like to remind you that as historians and archaeologists have surveyed old Rome, they continuously find pictures of penises drawn on the walls and sexual actions, its activities, etc. So this is, par for the course. This scatological humor, the naughty bits, the whole thing. We've always embraced the inane, the vulgar, the commonplace.
There's always going to be a tussle between sort of like popular culture and what people think is highbrow culture. And I don't know. When I was a kid, watched a hell of a lot of mediocre TV growing up. But then again, I also read comic books and Mad Magazine, and also read a lot of quality literature too. So read a lot of popular literature too. That's true. Our kids read a lot, and I have no problem with them reading Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and fantasy novels and whatnot, because they,
Well, the kids, we started them off on a variety of different things. I remember, when we went to Charleston with the kids, they were 1 and 3. They were just amazed by this thing called cable television. So we thought, well, we'll get that for a bit. And we did. We got it for a couple of years. And so the kids got into Rugrats and such. But as soon as they were introduced to Calvin and Hobbes books, they gave up playing and pretending to be Calvin and Hobbes. And they gave up playing Rugrats and embraced Calvin and Hobbes. And of course, Peter was Calvin. And Reed was the long, lanky tiger. But, I think we brought up the kids to have a well-rounded approach to things. But it really did help that they weren't constantly online. It also helped that when they were 5 and 7, we gave up television. We had cable for a couple of years. And then we had mediocre internet service. And when they were in high school and middle school, they did not have cell phones. And so they were kept away from a lot of the things that other kids defaulted to. Now, when they got to college, it was a necessity for them to have connectedness, to have laptops, to have some sort of cell phone device to get messages, text alerts, things like that.
Well, I think my point about Bill Maher is, I think we both agree that there's a lot of fluff and mediocrity in the culture, but he's whining about it, saying it's making our children soft. I don't give a shit, because I think that's just the way that's just a natural outcome of what happens. I don't think it's making anybody any softer than it has before, and giving children
we have writings from the Greeks and the Romans, and since then, every major civilization that has had writing has had people bemoaning the youth of the day, the youthful pleasures. Any time period has had that. They've complained that the children have it too easy, etc.
I'll tell you something. Mad Magazine was very important to me. not just because it opened up a world of this graphic art, but also because the lesson that Mad Magazine taught over and over was that they're all out to get you. They're all lying to you. It's all a scam. And they even went so far as to say, even we're scamming you. And I'll tell you something associated with that. Every quarter, every season, they had a super special, which was like a greatest hits volume, bigger than the regular issues. And they would always have a bonus feature in there. And one time, the bonus feature was an earlier, back when Mad Magazine was a comic book, they had one of their, they reprinted one of their old issues and stuck it in the front. And it was bound in with the rest of the magazine. And they had a disclaimer saying, look, I know you're going to be tempted to tear this thing out, but it's bound in with the rest of the pages. You're just going to tear the thing all to pieces if you try to tear this thing out. So I was so used to them with this sort of snarky, sarcastic tone, I thought that they were lying about that. So, of course, I tried to tear the damn thing out and just, ruined it. But but anyway, we've lost our train of thought here, lost our thread.
It's because we're getting old.
No, we need to, I don't know. I'm sick of Bill Maher anyway. I'm just,
Honestly, I've grown sick of late night hosts altogether. It was really funny. I don't agree with Trump about much of anything ever, but he did say, when I'm gone, you late night people are going to miss me because you will have me for to use as, well, I use the word as fodder. I don't know what he said.
Well, now they've got
but
obstructionist Republicans to pick on.
Yeah, but it was like the only reason I got into watching those late night people was to offset Trump, to somehow or another feel like I could escape it for a couple of minutes. I got to the point where the late night people were my first outlet for news. And if I wanted to know what the hell they were talking about, then I go click on the BBC or something. But now, number one, I can't stand to hear the word Trump anymore, not even in the sense of farting or Trump cards or whatever. But the late night people just don't have the same appeal because I don't need them anymore.
Yeah, I'm just tired of a lot of the...
But we are back to the same obstructionist bullshit that we had under Obama. The Republicans doing things just because it runs counter to what the Democrats are doing. And...
Well, it's just a lot of the time, what's a lot of the problem with those late night shows is that each one has a certain handful of things that they do which become hackneyed. And like Seth has certain things he does that I'm sick of. Stephen Colbert has certain things he does I'm sick of. I'm sick of certain things that Trevor Noah does. I used to not like Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon because they were so much more traditional, but I've gotten to where I prefer that because it's just, okay, here's the joke, now I'm done.
And it's something new. Things aren't done to death the same way that Seth does his old man spiel or...
Plus they have a fucking audience. It just feels more, I don't know, interactive or something. I don't know why Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers can't bring in 15, 20 people, have them sitting on sofas and do it that way.
I really think there's something else going on there, and I don't know why. I mean, I understand COVID and such, but yeah, you're right. Even in California, Bill Maher has been able to bring in about 25, 30 people, socially distanced and with masks on, and it's well spaced out.
I tell you, I've been watching these Institute of American Television interviews with old TV movie stars and stuff, and I watched a couple with the people who were on Happy Days, and I was thinking about how that show, every episode started with a voiceover by Tom Bosley saying, Happy Days was filmed before a live studio audience, and thinking, it doesn't matter, you still added a goddamn laugh track, but they'd have 200, 300 people in the audience. And I always thought, why not do it like a little play in a little, scrappy theater where you have 10 people sitting on a couple of sofas and you're just doing it for them. And if they laugh, they laugh. And if they don't, they don't. It's more genuine to me. And I think a lot more shows ought to be like that.
I hate laugh tracks.
It's so phony.
Yeah, and even those who were filmed before a live studio audience oftentimes had the prompters. The lights came on saying laugh or clap.
Yeah, and oh God, Seinfeld. I used to think it was so cleverly written, but then you watch it and you're watching it like they know the audience is going to clap when Kramer comes to the door, so they wait a second, for that to happen, so they can. It's just so phony. Okay. Anything else to add before we prematurely cut the conversation short?
No, nothing, dear.
Oh, one thing before we go. I woke up just now, and Bonnie was hanging up little air plants in little woven baskets in the window. And I thought, huh?
And glass bottles.
Yeah. And I told her, that's great. I love that. I love it.
So 70s.
Yes, because I grew up in this early mid-70s post-hippie feeling thing where there were little house plants and little macrame things and baskets and stuff, and it just had this feeling. And I missed that, even though I like a lot of modern conveniences too. All right, so we're out of here. Bye-bye.